you are in a mobile home anywhere on the West Bank in this area, we want you to evacuate that to a safe place. But even if it falls below that severe thunderstorm threshold, this is 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts that are about to move through the city. We look for what we call the inflow notch, or where it's actually somewhat calm. You're not seeing a ton of rainfall in this dry air slot, but this right here is concerning. We likely have a tornado on the ground somewhere to the southwest of Marrero as we speak. We also now have a new flash flood warning for the North Shore, including Slidell and Pearl River. This has a considerable damage tag on it, meaning life-threatening flash flooding is ongoing. Area that we're most likely seeing that tornado is right in here, so that's why we have that little hook. So if you're headed out to the fairgrounds to go to Jazz Fest, I would wait out this storm as it moves through. You don't want to be out there in the open. It's not tornado warned right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some more tornado warnings come out for these notches that are heading up very quickly to the northeast now that those fast winds have interacted with them. A lot of people out and about this weekend. If you're down there for the French Quarter Fest, again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, so find something stable that you can take shelter in what we call the main development region, from the Lesser Antilles over to the coast of Africa, because that is where we see most of our major hurricanes form. I want to show you water vapor, though, because what's really driving the system is in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's rubber stamp, rubber stamp, rubber stamp, same thing every day. You can do something on Thursday that won't happen again for the next 4 years, so plan something special. This weekend, enjoy the start of carnival season.
Yeah, Hannah Gard for our forecast. Hey, Hannah.
Thanks, Rob. We are tracking a lot of activity in the tropics as we head into the later morning hours. We also just had Tropical Depression 11 form. Not very impressive, especially compared to these two other systems that we're tracking, and it's also a fish storm going out to the middle of nowhere. But we have a very strong hurricane here. This is Hurricane Franklin. Notice we're starting to see maybe eye wall replacement happening. We had a very nice pinpoint eye there. It kind of disappeared, but we're starting to get maybe another eye forming here. It's getting a little bit clearer right now as it passes over to the west of Bermuda. That is going to take a northeast turn. It does look like it's kind of starting to maybe head in that direction, and you can see that's because of the flow of all of these other clouds and storms headed up to the northeast. We have a big area of low pressure over the central U.S. that's directing everything that way, including what is now Hurricane Idalia. That is what is in the eastern Gulf right now, expected to become a Category 3 hurricane as it makes that northeast turn and then quickly downgrade to a tropical storm. But here's what we're looking at right now. We've seen a couple of tropical storm force winds here on those buoys across western Florida and the southern peninsula. The latest advisory, 85 mile per hour winds. This is going to very quickly intensify as it heads up to the north. We have very warm waters in this area of the Gulf. We've been talking about those record warm sea surface temperatures. So playing that track out, it is expected to upgrade to a Category 2 hurricane and then become a Category 3 hurricane before landfall. This will be sometime tomorrow morning into the early afternoon hours that we see this system impact the Big Bend area of Florida. Then once it makes its way inland, we'll see a downgrade to a tropical storm. But places like Charleston and far southern North Carolina could also see tropical storm force impacts before that heads back out to sea. But the system does have hurricane warnings in effect all the way from Apalachicola down to Tampa Bay. We know the impacts spread farther than just the cone, especially with a major hurricane. So residents in these areas are being advised to prepare for one category higher. That's a Category 4 storm. So this is a very strong system. Places even as far south as Fort Myers in tropical storm warnings. And then on the other side, we have tropical storm warnings in effect for the East Coast. Myrtle Beach also included in that tropical storm watch as it makes it over the other side of the Florida peninsula. So looking at those winds, you can see into Tampa Bay. We'll have to watch for that storm surge even that far south because those winds are headed into the coastline. And depending on where that eye wall falls, we could see a catastrophic storm surge. That's what the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center said. 10 to 15 feet above ground level of storm surge here in the Big Bend region. As far south as Tampa, they could see up to 7 feet of storm surge. A reminder of that above ground level, that means above the height of 6 feet. So that's taller than most people. 9 feet, that's catastrophic to life-threatening storm surge. Now, looking at wave heights, because this is also going to maybe start to impact us. You can see far to the north, already seeing those elevated waves, 20-foot waves where Idalia is right now. So we do have a coastal flood advisory. When we start to get maybe some of those easterly winds, we could see some elevated surf for those areas of Plaquemines Parish on the eastern coastline. But right now, most of the rain we're seeing out there is not from this system. It's actually from this little boundary that's been sitting over us. It brought us rain yesterday. We saw 3 to 4 inches, some places even higher than 4 inches. So that was a nice soaking of rainfall after a very long stretch without rain. Still seeing some lingering showers out there in the coastal areas. Starting to see a couple of storms popping up. We are going to see that as we go into the afternoon. We get some daytime heating. We'll have some more storm activity popping up today. So still rain chances through the evening. And then we're going to dry out into the second half of the week as we get some of the lower humidity on the back end of Idalia as it makes landfall. So it's not going to be increased rain chances for long. So enjoy it today. Glad we got some yesterday. Now, it is a little hazy out there. Temperatures are sitting in the 80s. The reason we're seeing that haze, though, is still from that wildfire smoke that was trapped in the area. That'll start to clear out by tomorrow. Temperatures have been a lot better. We're in the low 90s where we should be this time of year. Once we clear out a bit with those rain chances, we will get a little bit warmer into the mid-90s, but we'll be sitting right around normal, at least through the weekend with our next chance for storms. Rob, back to you. All right.